Yes, Melanie and Byron, a suspected attack in this Kroger parking lot led to the arrest of 27-year-old Jerson Martinez.
Yes, customers of the Citgo right here, this is right next to the Metro Center Mall, say the cash register is typically worked by one female clerk. Their thoughts immediately went to her well-being. But here's the situation from police.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome back to Madison Central High School in always sunny Madison, Mississippi. We're getting ready. The grill is heating up. Trust me, take my word for it. It's about 400 degrees standing in front of this thing. Carl is trying to get the burgers going over here. We are getting ready. Game time, kickoff, almost. A little less than 2 hours away right now, about an hour and a half. The burgers are going to start going here any second now. Carl, about how many hamburgers or cheeseburgers you go through in a game?
Most I've ever cooked is about 480 for a Sopanola game. Tonight, I anticipate about 400.
On the corner of Marion Avenue and Capitol Street, you could see SWAT team uniforms, guns, and police get-ups everywhere. But these were no impressive Halloween costumes. It was the result of a real-life standoff situation between police and a man armed with a machete.
Officers backed out, set up a perimeter around the house. We then activated our SWAT team, and we were able to take this individual into custody by a less lethal method.
That less than lethal method was by way of a taser gun. Chief Vance says that Robert Breaker has a reported history of mental illness. His neighbors tell us they can attest to that.
Lock him up, send him get some help or something. He don't need to come back over here, because my family live here. And I don't be here all the time, and ain't no telling what he might do.
Police tell us that Breaker set up as a curbside pastor. On the man's porch, you can still find props from his services. Behind that, though, witnesses tell us that there was a dangerous situation waiting to happen.
Just do all other crazy, walk around the house, come out late at night and stand in the dark with his gun.
We are very fortunate that no one had to get hurt or killed out here. I think it's a tribute to the judgment of the officers that responded and to the highly skilled members of our SWAT team.
In Jackson, Terrence Friday, WJTV News, Channel 12.
The former circuit clerk for Warren County, Shelley Ashley Palmertree, will spend the next 5 years in prison after a conviction for stealing from taxpayers. Now 5 people want that job. They'll be counting up the ballots here at the Warren County Courthouse later this evening. The candidates are Jan Highland-Dagger, Robert D. Bob Donahue IV, Greg A. Peltz, John P. Shorter, and A. Sharonda Taylor. Again, this is a special election and maybe the most competitive race on the ballot.
Well, I do think the circuit clerk race is bringing people out, but I think people are coming out also because of various other races on it. But yeah, it's a busy race.
The polls close at 7 o'clock and results out here in Warren County are expected to start coming in around 7:30 this evening. In Warren County, Jacob Kittelstad, WJTV News Channel 12. It was 1 week ago, Monday, 11 p.m., that authorities say 2 men entered Canton's Fat Boy convenience store on Roby Street. Tony and Tiante Clark are accused of shooting 13-year-old Mohammed Saeed in the head, also wounding his father. A family friend, Eddie Obadi, talks about today's news.
We found out today that they just arrested them in Texas. They were, I guess they were trying to hide over there or something. And we're glad that they did arrested them so they can go to court and let the justice take it away.
Family buried the 13-year-old this weekend, an emotional event with many unanswered questions, mostly why. Family says the suspect shot before saying anything. Saeed's father said he would have given them the entire store before allowing his son to die. But friends continue to support that man who is still recovering from his own injuries.
He's doing very bad. I mean, seeing his own child getting shot in front of him, I don't think he's, but we're doing our best to help him, believe that, everything is in God's hand and God will help him and give him the strength to make it through.
It definitely wasn't pretty, but pretty doesn't win you football games, and the Bulldogs won an ugly game with Arkansas to keep their undefeated season alive.
We've won some high-scoring games. Now we've won a low-scoring game, and I said, I told everybody we're going to have to do that one time this year. We're, maybe multiple times.
This is the first game all season for MSU where the result was in doubt in the fourth quarter. The Bulldogs helped Arkansas out with a fumbled punt that led to a Razorback touchdown. Dak Prescott also threw 2 interceptions in the first half.
What hurt us today is mistakes. I didn't think we played tight. I thought we were playing well. I just think we made some really poor mistakes, and I think that really kind of didn't get us in rhythm, especially when you're playing in Arkansas, who's not going to give you many possessions, not going to give you the ball a whole lot, is going to eat up the clock.
But Prescott made up for his mistakes in the fourth quarter. In a tie game, the junior avoided some pressure and threw downfield to a wide-open Fred Ross for a 69-yard touchdown, giving the Bulldogs their first lead of the game at 17-10.
When he rolled out, the defender lost me, so I was like, man, I'm wide open. So he threw it to me, and we scored, so good play.
From there, it was up to the defense to hold off the Razorbacks. They did twice in the red zone. The first time was on a 4th and goal from the 5. The second came with 15 seconds left in the ballgame. The Hogs had completed 2 big pass plays on the drive, but it ended with a Will Redmond interception.
And it is intercepted! Will Redmond saves the day for number 1.
That's good for the team. It's good for everybody to fight adversity. I mean, going down 10-0 and having to come back and fight. This is the type of game we needed to have and get the win on top of. So anytime you get a win in a tight game like that is good.
My daughter was murdered by a serial killer.
Murray Pace was murdered in 2002 at the hands of a serial killer, Derek Todd Lee. And Murray's mother continues to grieve for her daughter today and is fighting Derek Lee's conviction in court as he tries to appeal his death penalty conviction. We'll have more on this story tonight at 6 as we hear of Anne's journey to overcome grief and anger from losing her daughter.
Hey guys, Terrence Friday here, working on a follow-up to a story that we brought you earlier this month. An 83-year-old woman is now the victim of robbery for the 3rd time. We're talking to police and also to some of her friends. Those details are coming up on WJTV News Channel 12.
I don't know a lot about ghosts. I've never seen one, but I have seen things happen in this building that makes me believe that.
When was the last time you experienced anything?
Yesterday.
Steve Colston bought this 2-story Jackson landmark in the 1970s for his photography business. At the time, he knew it dated back to the 1920s and was used as a boarding house for men traveling the nearby railroad. Back then, those types of inns were known as beaneries. But Steve didn't know the entire story.
After I moved in, the neighbors around started to come in and telling me stories about different things, and realized it had ghosts in it.
The neighbors told stories of gambling, prostitution, and violence. Legend has it 3 murders were committed within these walls. The first and second victims died of gunshot wounds.
And then the third one, which I think is the ghost, is a guy got stomped to death. And I think everybody's told me when you die violently that your spirit hangs around.
If that's true, there may be more than one ghost here. In 1979, after the Easter flood destroyed the floor of the beanery, a discovery was made under the house.
I went out and looked, and sure enough, there was some human bones. And I called the police and told them I'd found some bones under my building, and they came down and kind of laughed it off. And the police said it was probably a pauper's grave or something from a long time ago.
Steve believes those long ago tragedies are the reason strange things keep happening.
Every once in a while I'll hear something that kind of scares me. My hair on my arm will stand up. I've never seen a ghost. I've never seen one here. But after being here for a few years, things were happening, things would be moved. I heard people talking upstairs, heard people walking upstairs. And when you hear somebody talking, it's not like you and I are doing now, it's a muffled sound. You can tell it's conversation, but you can't understand it.
What Steve does understand is that when he's here, he never feels like he's alone.
Yes, Rankin County Sheriff Brian Bailey tells me that officers and deputies in the surrounding area have been driving up and down the interstate for the past 4 hours searching for these 2 men. And now those officers and deputies are here at a local gas station waiting to see if those 2 suspects will come here. Sheriff Bailey tells me that sometimes the suspects come to these local convenience stores and to get picked up by their getaway vehicles.
But so far, no such luck. The manhunt continues. Two illegal immigrants previously deported on the run again after being found with more than $600,000 worth of drugs, according to Rankin County Sheriff Brian Bailey.
I-20 is a major drug corridor where money comes through and drugs come through.
Wednesday afternoon, Sheriff Bailey tells us these two men, 32-year-old Manuel Santa Cruz Villanueva and 30-year-old Daniel Ramirez Correa, fled their Ford truck into the woods on I-20 when a deputy pulled them over.
One went south of the interstate, the other went north of the interstate.
Deputies tell us after they searched the vehicle, they found 4 kilos of cocaine and about 2 kilos of crystal meth.
That's around $30,000 a kilo.
The two men, both from Mexico, were heading back to North Carolina, according to Sheriff Bailey.
If you have that much dope riding in the car with you, you're going to be a nervous wreck while you're riding down the road.
Agencies from surrounding areas have been searching for the men since Wednesday afternoon.
Anything can happen anywhere, but you feel like over here in Rankin County, I always feel like I'm safer. And I guess that's not necessarily true.
Once these two men are found, Sheriff Bailey tells me they will be charged with possession of meth with intent to distribute and possession of cocaine with intent to distribute. They will serve their time here, and once they're done, they will be deported once again. Live in Rankin County, Daniela Vitable, News Channel 12.
Melanie, it looks like the search will continue yet another day for Greg Castle here at the reservoir. Now, Madison Emergency Management Director Butch Hammock says his crews have been searching waters as deep as 60 feet. And while hope remains that Greg Castle may still be alive, time is running out.
We all have our different ways of coping. This family's sure been through a lot.
Scotty Castle says his father, 53-year-old John Greg Castle, was no stranger to boating at night. Search efforts for the construction company owner have been underway for 2 days now. Officials say Castle was last seen on the Ridgeland side of the reservoir when he jumped off a boat for a swim around 10:30 last night and never returned. According to Madison County Emergency Management Director Butch Hammock, Castle jumped in near the spillway and dam, one of the most dangerous places to swim.
Well, indications are the current was strong enough that once he hit the water, him and the boat grew further and further apart.
The mile-wide grid search that started last night and continued this morning at 7 a.m. has not shown any signs of Castle as of yet. And as for Castle's family, his son wants everyone to take some time out to show their parents how much they mean to them.
I hope that everyone in Madison County will give their parents, whether they're my age or whether they're 45, just a hug and a kiss. It's 5 minutes out of your day.
Now, search efforts have been called off for this evening, but will continue tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. So be sure to tune in to our morning show for the latest developments. Reporting live at the reservoir, Candace Cole, WJTV News Channel 12.